whiskey lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Another one of those Feis Ile releases, another one of those Feis Ile Ramblings, but Feis Ile 2018. Mind you, I did not visit Feis Ile 2019, but for 2018 my friend was there and he brought me some bottles. Today I would like to talk to you about the Bruichladdich Distillery, where they had some Feis Ile releases for Port Charlotte. Port Charlotte, indeed, they had two. They had the Valinch, which was available at the distillery only, the Distillery Valinch, which was an Oloroso single cask from 2005, but you also had this one, the Heretic. And the Heretic is a Port Charlotte 16 years old. It was distilled in 2001 and bottled 2017, 2018, but it also says on the label, the last of the first. What that means is that it's actually the last casks that they used from the very first distillate that they had created. It's actually a vatting of American oak, but there's also some rum casks in there and even some French wine casks. So there you have it. That's why they call it the Heretic, I presume. It is bottled at a whopping 55.9% ABV. Now there's a funny detail. As you can see here, it is signed to my name, and when my friend Manny brought this bottle to me from Feis Ile last year, I was like, oh wow, to Mark's Lingerie by Adam Hannett, the distillery manager, the master distiller I should say, and I had totally forgotten about the fact that it was signed. And I recently did a Feis Ile masterclass in Ghent, where I invited a couple of friends to come and try these Feis Ile releases, because whiskey is for sharing. But I had totally forgotten that this bottle was actually personalized and signed to my name. And for 4 seconds, no more than 4 seconds, at that tasting I was like, uh-oh, should I open this bottle? My mildly autistic side doubted for a second to open this bottle, yes or no. But obviously everybody there was expecting the whole lineup of Feis Ile 2018. There was no way that I could not open this bottle at that moment. But I was like, oh my god, it's a signed bottle. This should be in my collection. This should not be... Oh, crap. But I'm glad that we did, because you will find out with me that this Port Charlotte, this Heretic, is actually quite nice. Like I said, bottled at 55.9% ABV, a full golden color, and that's probably because of those red wine casks and those rum casks in the mix. Let's find out if this Port Charlotte 16 years old 2001 is any good on the nose. I have to be honest, it starts a bit weird. I get some baby breath, some flor. You know what flor is? It's the yeasty layer on top of sherry when it matures, making sure that the sherry does not come in contact with oxygen during the maturation process. But I also get some farmer's butter. And then there are some fruity notes like pineapple and lemon. There's even some pine cones in there, and pine seeds. A drop of olive oil, smoked salmon. So like I said, it starts a bit weird, but when you leave it to breathe for a moment, it really opens up and becomes quite good. It grows on you. Right, on the palate then. It starts very fruity, citrusy. I get lemon, lime, pink grapefruit, but then the peatiness kicks in. There's a huge peatiness with big smoke. Smoked fish. The sweetness is on vanilla and chocolate as well. It's a bit herbal. I get some lemongrass. I get some ferns. Then it's quite soft on the spices. It becomes really good. I'm gonna have me another sip there. Quite lovely. The way that the smoke develops, and it becomes quite big, but at the same time, it immediately already starts to diminish as well. Fruit flies, they love the smell of whiskey, trust me. Right, on the finish. Now that's a finish. It's long, it's warm, a bit spicy. I get some sweet and sour notes at the same time, and it becomes a bit drying, with a salty exclamation point at the death. The finish is delicious. Wow, the nose was a bit of a scare. It started a bit off, with baby breath and a bit a bit weird, but it grows on you. And then on the palate, it's quite broad, quite sweet and feisty, smoky. But at the death, you get it all. You get the beautiful whiskey, and especially the finish on this Heretic is fantastic. So yeah, that was a whiskey that recovered quickly to become grand. So you have to get through the nose though, but on the palate and in the finish, wow, I'm repeating myself, aren't I? Yeah, well, but it's a beautiful whiskey, even though the bottle is now open and almost finished. You can't tell, but I can tell by the weight. I think I'm going to keep the empty bottle in my collection. Who's to know? Why not? By the way, this was also, I mustn't forget, this was also the very first time that Port Charlotte was released in this type of bottle. Before that, it was in the Bruichladdich bottle. But Feis Ile 2018 saw the release, the rebranding of Port Charlotte in these type of bottles. It's got a bit of a military look to it, I feel. I'm not sure why. Yeah, I was in the army. Yeah, I was drafted into the army. Well, never mind. This is ages ago, almost 30 years ago. Never mind. Port Charlotte, 16 years old, 2001. The Heretic for Feis Ile 2018. Delicious malt. Once you get past the somewhat weird nose, it grows on you, becomes grand, becomes delicious. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling. And I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you.